Hey guys, welcome back to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we're back with a Senna supplementary guide, and today we're going to be taking a look at the carry build of Senna, basically going for lethality items and things like that. So without further ado, let's actually jump straight into it. So first up, we're going to start off with the items. So normally, I like to start with Relic Shield when I go for this build. Now, why? Because Senna is a very squishy target, and in lane you do, trade quite a bit. So with the Relic Shield, with the extra 125 health, which will eventually, of course, evolve into the Bulwark of the Mountain, giving you even more health. So I like to get the health from Relic Shield. So yeah, yes, you will lose out on the opportunity to get some souls because you will be, CSing some of the minions, but I think that the health that you get from this is kind of worth it. Of course, if you prefer Spectral Sickle, works as well. So this is a little bit about personal preference. So for your boots, your first item, you want to go for defensive boots. Now, I have tried going for offensive boots. I've tried going for boots of dynamism. Yes, they do work great, but the issue is you're just way too squishy. I think defensive boots on Senna are actually very important. So you either go for plated steel caps or you go for merc treads depending on the game. Most games it will be plated steel caps because generally in the bot lane you will be against AD damage, and furthermore AD damage is generally more prevalent in the game. So most of the times it's plated steel caps, otherwise it's going to be, of course, your merc treads. So now briefly talking about what enchant to go. So you do have a couple options. So of course, being a carry yourself, you can of course go for the normal stasis or QSS. But if you still want to be supportive, you can of course go for the Locket, even Redemption, and also the Revival Enchant. So quite a large number of options here. So let's get into the build. So for first item, you want to go for Youmuu's 100% of the time. Youmuu's is just a really good item. Gives you 15 armor pen. Of course, it gives you a lot of AD ability haste, and of course you get the extra armor pen when you proc Youmuu's, as well as of course getting the extra attack speed. So Youmuu's pretty much is always going to be your first lethality item. And your second lethality item most of the time is going to be Edge of Night. Now Edge of Night is going to give you less armor pen, in fact even less armor pen than the boots, but it is going to give you two other important things. Number one, it's going to give you that spell shield, which is going to help you a lot, especially in games where there are a lot of hostile abilities. Number two is going to give you health. Now health is actually really important on Senna because, as I said, she's very squishy, so getting health is really good because you don't die so easily. Now you do have another option as your second lethality item, which is going to be Serpent Spang. Now you only want to go for Serpent Spang into a team with heavy shielding, so that means normally it's when you have enchanters like Lulu, Janna, or Karma, things like that. But sometimes you do have other things. Let's say you can have a Set, a Shun, and like combinations of these kind of things is of course going to mean that you do have to go for your Edge of Night not Edge of Night, your Serpent Spang to cut their shielding. So after that, you are generally always going to go for Mold Reminder. This is to give you the armor pen as well as the Grievous Wounds. Now by this time, people of course have gotten tanky, and of course there's healing as well, so you do want to go for this one. And for last item, it is pretty flexible, but one of my favorite options is actually Ruinous Hurricane, because by this time you have insane attack range, you hit like a truck, and with the Ruinous Hurricane you can attack 3 people at the same time from a very long range, because of all of your stacked souls, you will have a lot of additional range. Now, with the same concept, with all of your stacked souls, you will have quite a bit of crit already, so actually you can go for IE as the last item. So going for that, you have 50% crit from your build, but most likely you will have at least 30% or 45% crit from your souls, and that's going to mean that IE is going to be really effective as your last item. Now of course you could also go for other options as your last item, like more defensive ones such as Maw or GA, that could work as well. And for the runes, I like to go for Press the Attack when we go for Senna, because of course you can auto to quickly press the attack, and of course it's going to increase the damage that enemy takes from all sources, including your teammates. And similar to the complete guide I did on Senna, of course check that out if you haven't. Senna has 2 real options for her main rune page. So basically, if you're against a tanky team, you want to go for Brutal into Giant Slayer, which is the main thing that, the main reason why you want to take this against tanks, and Bloodline for the healing. Now if you're not into a tanky team, then you want to go for Domination, going for Shield Bash, Empowered Attack, as well as Eyeball Collection, because this is going to be the more consistent rune page technically. But because of the fact that you're against tanks, the Giant Slayer with all of your autos is going to make it do a lot more damage. So I like to take Hex Splash or a secondary rune, just for that little bit of extra mobility. Now for the spells, you want to go for Flash and generally heal since you are the support. But if your ADC takes something like Ghost or whatnot, you could also go for Exhaust. So with all that said, let's move on to talking about the gameplay. Okay, so now we're moving on to the gameplay section of the video. So, what kind of situation do you want to play Senna in? Well, normally, ideally, you want to play Senna with a tanky team. Now, this team, not the tankiest. We do have a Shen. Xin Zhao is a okay front line. We don't really have, you know, solid tanks, and we don't have like a Ornn top and like a Maokai jungle or anything like that. So it's not really the most optimal game. So here you can see, to remove the ward, we can auto to remove the ward without needing anyone else to be there. Just a small tip, because you do get to reset your auto attack. So yeah, not really the most ideal match to play Senna in, but you know, sometimes it's solo queue, so you don't really get to choose things like that. And just a little bit of a heads up, you will see me getting caught and dying a lot in this match. But a little bit of a spoiler, despite that, we still end up like doing the most damage in the game by quite a fair margin, both compared to our team and the enemy team, which kind of just shows you how much damage this build can really do. So if you played a lot better than what I did in this game, like you can see here, here's the first example. We get hooked in by Blitzcrank, which like a complete idiot. I haven't played the game, you know, for a number of days at this point, and like I don't know why I stepped past the minions there just to get hooked by Blitzcrank, but I tried to delay as much time as possible to allow my Kai'Sa to finish off that kill. Now Kai'Sa for some reason is focusing 3 auto attacks on the Krugs instead of the Blitzcrank. I felt that if Kai'Sa actually focused the Blitzcrank instead of the Krugs there, I actually think Kai'Sa picks up a double kill, because 3 auto attacks went to the Krugs, and you know, 3 auto attacks plus a Q plus another like 1 more auto attack I think would have procced her passive onto Blitzcrank, and I think that she kills Blitzcrank in that situation. But anyways, you know, we're not here to talk about Kai'Sa, we're here to talk about Senna. So yeah, here we get hooked again, but actually in this case it doesn't really matter, because it actually just brings me closer to help me poke Blitzcrank a little bit more, you know, just to also get souls. So here I got a soul from Blitzcrank, I got a soul from Ashe as well. Of course, in the early game, your main goal is to get souls, and the main way you get souls is to attack enemies twice, you know, in a row to, of course, grab the soul from them. Of course, also, if your ADC farms like this, you can also grab souls from the minions, but that's a lot more inconsistent in the sense that you don't really get to choose whether you get souls or not. It's kind of a little bit of RNG. So yeah, as I said, this build, it does do a lot of damage, but again, Senna is super duper squishy when you build this way. So comparing Tank Senna to Carry Senna, I actually mostly think that Tank Senna is better, because she fits more into a role of a traditional support. She still does decent damage, especially considering the fact that you're building tank, and you are more supportive to your team, and you can fit into more team comps. Right? With Carry Senna, you kind of ruin your team comp majority of the time, and you're also incredibly squishy. However, as a pro, you are a second AD carry on your team. So if your ADC just ints and dies or anything like that, you are there to kind of cover up, you know, their absence, and you can kind of take on the role of an ADC. So pros and cons to both builds, but I think at this point in general, because Senna's souls are still really strong in Wild Rift, I actually think the tank build is just better in general, because you get kind of enough damage from your souls already, and you don't really need, I'm not saying you don't need damage items, you do need damage items, but even without damage items, you still do a decent amount of damage. It's kind of what I'm trying to say here. So yeah, at this point in the game, so far we have only taken our support item, and here Fizz is in for a gank. I get a nice route onto Blitzcrank, but Fizz doesn't want to go in on Blitzcrank, which is pretty logical. Ashe is not really in a position that you can really go in on. I suspect that that bush that Fizz is in is actually warded, which is why you saw them quickly move away the moment he walked near that bush. And of course here I'm going to pick up the armor boots, because we're against a Darius who does physical damage, Yone mainly physical damage, and Ashe who does physical damage. The only magic damage here is Swain, but there are some games that you do have that you do play against like magic damage, so that is a thing as well. So here, after picking up the boots, we are finally able to move on to trying to build our first item. Of course, trying to get the Dirk first. Dirk is of course always going to be a major power spike in terms of getting that lethality, you know, early on in your build. So here my Kai'Sa constantly has a desynced recall timer from me. So here I'm gonna actually roll mid, but she gets cancelled on her recall, and I realized that She was about to get cancelled when I see Blitzcrank and Ash walking close, which is why I walked back in case she gets hooked by Blitzcrank and a fight breaks out or something like that. So I did manage to complete my roam to mid, unfortunately, but we are able to get back to the lane to ensure nothing bad happens to Kai'Sa. So here we also have helped Kai'Sa the CS because of course Kai'Sa doesn't have the longest range and Ash outranges Kai'Sa, so she probably was having a little bit of trouble getting that minion, so we did grab the minion for her. Of course we don't steal the gold because we have support item. And here we are able to pick up the serrated dirt. Now our team is starting off the dragon, so we're just going to hit right on over. Now I see a fight going to break out, so I'm just going to blast plant straight over. And I'm focusing the Swain here. My team picks up the dragon. I proc the PT onto Swain, getting the ulti across my entire team to give them the shield. I flash forward to try to finish the Ashe, but Kai'Sa finishes her off instead. And then I get a heal across majority of my team. Fizz goes untargetable. I heal him with Summoner Heal, and he does survive against the Blitzcrank. So Kai'Sa in the meanwhile picks up a triple. So she got all 3 of the kills in this situation basically. And you know, it kind of works out. We get the dragon and we get 3 kills as well. Nobody actually dies. That was a huge team fight win for my team, and that's kind of surprising because we are actually like behind. Like even now we're only just on par in the enemy team. So at that fight we were kind of behind the enemy team. So it was kind of a surprise that we ended up winning the fight. Probably because the enemy team was a little bit disorganized in terms of, you know, going in. They were kind of going in one by one from different angles. So which is why we were able to basically dogpile onto them one by one and, you know, just get rid of them one by one. So here, I'm waiting just a couple seconds for the Caulfield's Warhammer, which is of course the other item component of Youmuu's, which I was, you know, like 20 gold away from. And with that, we are gonna run back to lane with the help of our E as well. And here Kai'Sa should have actually not killed that minion and let it deny that plate, because the tower is like 54 health away. Now here, unfortunately, Swain comes in for the gang, but the more unfortunate part is that I flash when Blitzcrank hooks, and I end up getting hooked. Now here you can see I actually delayed a lot of time with the Q healing and the ulti shield. So I was hoping that Kai'Sa could finish someone off, which Blitzcrank probably killed himself by hooking Kai'Sa in. Kai'Sa tries to ult out, but doesn't quite work. So it's a 2-for-1 trade, but Fizz and Xinjiao are here to change that. So they kill all of them, and eventually it is ending up to be a 2-for-3 trade, at least on this side of the map. Shen unfortunately died on the other side of the map, so in the end, if you want to count it in that way, it's an even trade on both teams. So here, since Fizz and Xinjiao are at bot lane, we want to go to either mid or top. Now top has a huge wave, so I'm thinking Shen or Kai'Sa can grab that. So I'm going to go mid instead. And here you can see Yone runs straight into a root auto, and he's taking a lot of damage. Auto again with the press the attack this time. Auto again. He's like half health gone at this point. So we don't even have any completed item yet, by the way. So this kind of just shows you, you know, how Senna really operates. Like that small skirmish really just shows you how Senna operates, which is you want to take advantage of your range, because Yone is melee. He has no range if he is not able to dash on me, and you can take advantage of your range to auto them like this, and you know, basically just not burst them down, but basically just chip away at their health bar. You know, using your range, and you know, if they can't get on top of you, you're just gonna be damaging them non-stop. So here we flash forward to catch the Ashe. We get stunned on the tower with the Ashe, unfortunately, but with the heal and with the shield, we're gonna be golden. And here we lose vision of Yone for a second, but Fizz is gonna clean him up. And now we are on the Swain. Swain is running for the hills. Kai'Sa gets ult off into a Q, and with my range, I'm able to auto attack him from over the wall and take the kill. Now on tank Senna, you never want to take the kill. You want to give the kill to your team. But with carry Senna, I mean, ideally you still want to give the kill to your team. But in this case, Kai'Sa is already super fast. She's 5-1 and 5. I can afford to take some of the kills to get to my item spikes, which I do in this case with my Youmuu's as well as my serrated dirt. Another serrated dirt. So now we have like what, 15 lethality plus 8, 23 lethality in the pocket, not counting the additional lethality from proccing the Youmuu's. Now here, I was thinking we should, you know, play a little bit more aggressive. Like we have enemies around the area, however we also have teammates around the area, so we should step up a little bit. Now unfortunately here I get hit by the root here, and I get exhausted, knocked up, just chain CC'd, and Fizz is just walking around. I mean, honestly not much he can really do. He's not like he's gonna go in, or he shouldn't go in like 1v3 just because I got caught. But You know, I just felt that, you know, my team could have done a little bit more there. I think that we should have been trying to poke enemies a little bit, trying to, like, you know, get a little bit of mid lane priority, not just conceding the entire mid wave to them for no reason when we have the manpower around to stop them from doing so. So regardless, I'm now dead, or rather I've just respawned. The next dragon is also respawning, and I'm trying to make my way there as quickly as I can. Now I'm going to take a look at Xin Zhao starting off the dragon. I'm reaching the scene. Auto take the dragon from over the wall because I do have the range for that. I get hit by an Ash arrow, but I'm under no threat. No enemies even in my screen. So yeah, I'm trying to make my way to the fight, but I realize this is a little bit of a bad position because it's going to be a little bit of a flank. Now that the enemy team is distracted, I'm coming in with the ulti for the shield onto my team, and I'm just autoing whoever I can. I actually end up picking up a kill onto Ash, who basically runs into me. I get hooked in my Blitzcrank, and then pulled by Darius, and that kind of spells the end for me, and I give Darius the reset, which means that he can finish off the Shen as well, and then also the Xin Zhao. And Kai'Sa, during that whole time, I'm not sure where she was. Looks like she wasn't really in the fight, which is a little bit horrible because she is our most fed member. She has 9k gold. Not the most fed member in the game, but definitely the most fed member in our team, and apparently she wasn't there. So yeah, basically, only Kai'Sa's left alive. She's just clearing the wave in mid, trying to pick up this mid lane tower, but gets chased away by the Ashe. Now I've respawned. I'm going to top lane because there's a huge wave there. Ideally, someone else should pick up this wave so that I can get more souls. But since no one is here yet, I'm just taking the minions, and Shen is now here, so I'm just waiting for him to clear the minions so that hopefully I can get some souls. Again, it's a little bit of RNG, so here, finally we get a soul. That was pretty unlucky because from that whole wave we only got one soul out of the non-guaranteed souls, because all the cannon minions are guaranteed souls if you don't last hit them, and we only got one that wasn't a guaranteed soul, so that is really unfortunate. But here we are gonna stay away from the bush because we know Blitzcrank's in there. He might always just launch a hook over the wall, and we wouldn't really want to be a victim of that. So here using the Q for the rage to grab that soul because we don't want to walk too near in case Darius hooks us in. And yeah, we're just gonna quickly grab all of these souls. Kai'Sa's recalling, but Swain is not going to allow her to do so. So here, we don't have the best KD in the world. We're 3, 4, and 8 at the moment. But sometimes as a support, you aren't really going to pick up all of the kills. You are just going to be doing quite a bit of damage, but not necessarily getting all the kills. Here, I'm going to try to help out Shen by using my root and my ulti onto the enemy team. Now here you can see I'm just free hitting onto the Swain. No one is really threatening me. And I get another nice root onto the Darius and Ashe to prevent them from participating in the fight. Huge team fight comes here. I'm gonna flash forward, finish off this kill. Darius now on the run. Root barely doesn't connect. Oh, actually it does connect, but he flashes over the wall right before it procs. And here I pick up a double onto the Darius, which also gives me a shutdown. Now the whole enemy team is dead except Yone. Yone is the enemy jungler. Fizz is trying to take care of him, but Fizz ends up dying to him instead. Yone is now recalling, and now we're gonna start the Baron. Now, this, of course, is slightly dangerous because there is a world where Yone could heal up, run all the way here, and try to steal. So, because we don't have the fastest Baron here. However, looks like that is not going to happen. We are going to secure the Baron. And you can see 1 second later, you know, Yone hops over the wall, which is why I said this is definitely risky, because I knew that this was a possibility of happening. And if the Yone, you know, had any idea we're doing Baron, which he should have, because that's the most logical move when you know, 3 people are alive and only 1 person is alive on the enemy team. So he does know that we're doing Baron, and he ran there as fast as he could to try to get the steal. Unfortunately, he was a second too late. Could have been a disaster for us if he decided to run there 1 second quicker, but thankfully that is not the case. So now with our Baron, we want to try to make something happen, and Shen once again gets hooked in, but he's really tanky. You can see he's surviving for a long time, and in fact, he actually ends up getting the Swain killed because I'm free hitting onto the Swain as they're focusing him, and as he's like running away. So it's kind of funny. We finish off the mid lane tower here, and now we're gonna move on to the tier 2. Now Yone tries to come in from the side, but runs straight into a root instead. Ends up getting caught at the side. Fizz goes in, grabs the kill, grabs the shutdown. Again, off the back of him getting CC'd there. He mistimed it a little bit. If he timed it a little bit better, he could have gone unstoppable when he went back to his body. So here you can see the damage. Q, auto, Q, auto, Q, auto, and Ashe almost died. Now, the reason why I didn't overcommit to that kill and tank a tower shot or 2 extra is because I know that Ashe has barrier. So I don't want a situation where I get baited to tanking extra tower shots and she barriers and I can't finish the kill and we end up trading 1 for 1. I could easily see that happening, and she also has her ult. So I can easily see that happening, that I overcommit, I get stunned under the tower and she barriers and then I die instead. So I think I made the correct decision there by not going for the 1 HP kill. But also, I'm really surprised that Ashe didn't just straight up use her barrier when she's at 1 HP. Like, either she is really slow reaction time or, you know, she has a lot of nerve. So, either way, the final dragon is up. Xinjia is trying to get in there to get the soul, but unfortunately it's not going to happen. It's only Mountain Soul, so I don't think it's a very huge loss. I actually get a nice ult across, you know, 2 of my teammates and 2 enemies. So here we do a lot of damage, and we also end up protecting our team quite a bit. Here we finish off the kill onto Suede, and my team is still fighting the Yone and the Darius. I'm trying to make it there as fast as I can. I'm going to have to quickly pop the flash to join the fight. I root the Darius. Darius is now about to go down. He is, of course, the most fed member of the enemy team, on par with Yone. He has the Sterex here, does hook us in, but he's not able to really finish anybody off. Now, Yone here does the most intelligent thing, which is to cut the wave and prevent us from having a wave to end with. So, not only did he escape dying, he also prevented us from ending the game. So really well played by Yone. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to go for this tower. At least I am, but Fizz executes himself at the Nexus. I don't know why my team just tried to tank the Nexus and just died to the Nexus. Like, there's no way you're ending if you have no minions. Like, Kai'Sa tanks the tower and basically goes from full health to no health, so she has to recall. And now Xinjia is getting caught. I'm trying my best to help him. I'm using all of my spells. Summoner heal, my normal Qs across him. Shen is ulting him, and he actually survives. Blitzcrank's probably about to die. He actually doesn't. He actually escapes. He dies eventually. Now Darius goes in for the hook. Hex splashes forward. I hex splash away. He transports the root to Ashe. Ashe stuns me. And I know I'm dead at this point, so I'm gonna try to trade onto Ashe. And in the end, I do get a 1-for-1 trade onto the Ashe with the help of a well-placed ulti, giving me a shield at the same time as damaging the Ashe. So we are able to pick up that kill. Of course, the barrier did come into play over there, which again is not too big of a surprise. And yeah, so here we already have you know, almost full build. Just need a last item, which we are going for Ruined Hurricane, because there are a lot of team fights in this particular game if we even reach the last item. Enemy team is obviously doing Baron because only Kai'Sa and Fizz are alive and everyone else is dead. So they're obviously doing Baron, but I don't blame Kai'Sa and Fizz for not doing anything about it, because if I was the Kai'Sa here, I wouldn't be going to the Baron either, because, you know, there's not much you can really do against like 2v4. It's really, really difficult to contest the Baron in that case. But here, everybody is now back on the map. And I'm going to quickly grab this blue buff, because for some reason the Shen has been trying to grab the blue buff constantly, which Shen doesn't need blue buff at all. I mean, you know, ideally I want Fizz to get it, but if Shen is going to go grab it anyway and not let Fizz get it, I'd rather I get it than the Shen, because blue buff is not very useful on Shen whatsoever. So Elder Dragon is spawning in a couple of seconds. I'm going to make sure the area is nice and well warded, having a ward on both of the entrances. For some reason, Blitzcrank and Swain are very far overextended, so I'm going to get the root onto them, and we're going to immediately go onto them. Swain pops the stasis without popping his ulti, which is quite a big waste. I get a shield across my entire team, also damaging 2 of them. And here Ashe is kind of getting caught. She ends up dying. Now here you can see Yone is trying to backdoor, so I'm running straight back to my base to stop him from ending the game. He does have Baron, and he can end the game if no one stops him, so my job here is to not die and to stop him from ending the game. But I realize that I can kill him, so I'm trying to chase him down. Here I QSS to prevent myself from getting knocked out. Really well timed QSS there, and Shen ulti comes in to save me. Now if Shen didn't ult me there, I would have actually died to the Yone before killing, you know, he would have killed me before I killed him, basically. So because of the Shen ult, he saves my life, and I'm able to finish off the Yone, which also means that no enemy is left alive, which also means that we end the game, as you guys can see here. So I'm going to leave you guys with the stats as usual. Pay attention to how much damage, you know, we really did. And of course, thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.